All right, is Chandler McGregor happening?
No, I say no.
No.
Nah, I don't think so.
You changed 2 weeks ago. You said it was definitely happening. What changed your mind?
Dude, the more I see like little snippets of Conor on social media, like, bro, they showed him going into the Bellator event. He gets out of the car, starts limping, and then walks perfectly normal after that. Like,
Yeah.
bro, it's very obvious to me that the guy doesn't want to fight. I love Conor. I think it's either he doesn't want to fight or I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to step in the ring. And not that I don't think he thinks he can beat Chandler. I think he thinks if he loses, it's probably a vicious KO or like something. It's an explode. I think he wants to fight. Like if he comes back, it's going to be like a Nate Diaz. That's
Love it. Yeah, I think you're
yeah,
perfectly right, dude. The way
yeah.
Chandler fights, that's why I think this has kind of been like a little bit surprising me the whole time because, like, bro, even just the way he trains, like he's such a pit bull, dude. He's just gonna charge at you. And yes, the chonky wrestler with like a lot of power in his overhand right. That's what everyone said is like the perfect tailor-made style for McGregor. But like, who is McGregor right now? Like, we have no idea what this guy's gonna look like. He hasn't fought in 3 years. So like, and before like the last 7 years, he's fought what, like 2 or 3 times. So like, we just don't know what he looks like right now. And I agree with you. I don't think he wants to fight Chandler. I think he would fight Diaz. I think he would do a boxing match. Like, but like, I think the more time goes on, especially with this injury, who knows what was going to happen before the injury? I'm sure he would have fought, right? But like, I think this changes everything. It clearly changes everything because they move the fight back and they still have not announced something. Now Chandler comes out on Twitter today. He says he was offered Islam Makhachev. Uh, and a couple other, I don't know if this is actually being reported or if he was just saying it. That's got to be BS, right? That's not happening.
Dude, I think it's kind of like a calling Connor's bluff type of deal. But bro, like we just said about the Connor thing, dude. I if you when the media asked Dana about this whole thing, like bro, it kind of seems like Dana's even fed up with Connor. He's like I'll mention Connor's name when Connor's actually ready to fight. Like I think Dana's even over this like McGregor kind of games that he's been playing. You know what I mean? It's just I think we're
Bro,
getting down to
yeah.
that time where I get I got a weird feeling we're about to see like a bad fallout with Conor McGregor in the UFC.
Love
I
it.
have some weird feeling, bro.
Love it. I think that's a perfect take, dude. I love it. Like I agree. And everyone, you remember this weird situation when like the fight kept getting pushed back and everyone kept saying like, "Oh, McGregor has one fight left on his deal and like the UFC is trying, they don't want him to fight until he has a new deal." And they were saying all this stuff. Like, do people realize how dumb the guy is? The biggest star in the history of the sport and it's not even remotely close. Dana would do anything to have that guy fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. Like he calls the shots. If you don't know that, you're a moron and you have no idea what you're talking about. So like the UFC definitely wants him to fight. Like, right? They jumped through so many hoops. Remember that like 8 or 9 days stretch a couple weeks ago where they weren't saying anything because they were begging the guy. They probably gave him unlimited money to fight. Like again, the guy calls the shots. He does what he wants. It's not a UFC like not wanting him to fight thing. It never was that. But right now, I agree with you. I don't think he really wants to fight. He has every right not to fight, but I'm very curious to see how these next couple weeks play out. I agree with you. I think Chandler was kind of just obviously they didn't offer him Islam. Like, why on earth would they make that fight? Actually, I didn't even think of this. Arman is suspended right now for at least 6 months. So maybe they do need another fight. If they gave Chandler, can you imagine if Chandler gets a title shot after waiting for McGregor for 2 full years, sitting out, waiting for that fight? It falls out, and then he gets a title shot. I'm getting pissed off just thinking about that. But honestly, from looking at his Twitter today, I think he has finally come to grips with like maybe this fight is not happening and I need to save face and kind of move on because it's going to be embarrassing. Like if I'm Chandler right now, I said the same thing 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when we spoke about it. I don't want to be the one like left at the altar, if you will. I want to say, I'm done with you, McGregor. I'm out of this fight. Like I would do that before Conor has the chance because if Conor does it first, you're going to look like such a chump. You already look like a chump, but you're going to look like more of one. Again, respect to Chandler, but this whole saga, at a certain point, you got to cut your losses, right? And hang it up. So I would fight anyone else. I don't see how he would get a title shot. But honestly, I don't really know who's next. Poirier said, give me the rematch. That's not happening. Another, well, do you have anything else on your boy McGregor? I know he's your favorite.
No, dude, like I said, I don't think I see him taking any fight other than like a Diaz or like a fight that doesn't seem very scary, I guess you would call it. You know what I mean? You also see him on like posting on social media that he's like climbing Mount Everest or whatever it is. Like, bro, like you're clearly like, I'm not saying that means you can or can't fight. Like I get it, like based off of the injury, but I just have this. I don't think the guy wants to fight. I definitely don't think he wants to fight Michael Chandler. And you can, dude, even when he put out the injury post, like he even ended with the post with like Chandler or not. Like it's just he was throwing out the Chandler or not at the end of the post, like trying to get that. Like you can tell he's trying to basically wait Chandler out. And
Yeah.
I even think Dana White's starting to kind of be annoyed with it, bro. When the media asks him, I think he's starting to show that he's getting annoyed. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see.
I agree with you. I guess I was rambling. I didn't really finish that. Like, I do think that Dana, again, in the past when people were saying this, that the UFC like didn't want him to fight, that was completely not true. But today, like, I think things have changed. I think him pulling out with, again, I wouldn't have fought either if I was him. I'm not saying that, but like, again, as minor of an injury, like he's fought through multiple worse injuries than that, like him himself. So like, and most fighters, I think we could agree, would fight with that. He's not most fighters. He shouldn't have fought. I agree with that. I would pull out too. But I think right now Dana is not happy. Again, remember they like basically some people leaked it that they were fighting in Salt Lake City at like the end of August or September. And then like you haven't heard anything about that since. That was the original report. This fight is not canceled. This fight is postponed. It's delayed a couple months. As I reported. But now you haven't heard anything about it, and Dana seems pissed off. I don't think the fight's happening. If I'm Chandler, I'm jumping ship as soon as possible to make it look kind of, again, save face here. Hopefully we see McGregor back in the octagon. I think the Nate Diaz trilogy is awesome. I would love to see that. I think everyone, I mean, that might be the best seller. That would be at least number 2. I mean, I think Diaz 2 right now is the second highest pay-per-view of all time. Khabib him is 1.
Hey, but I definitely like, bro, as far as them fighting, and there's no chance they're putting Conor anywhere other than like New York or Vegas. I think there's literally no, other than like maybe like a Sphere Saudi Arabia type of deal. That's the only potential that like, I just don't see them put. I think Ariel, I don't know if it's true, but Ariel was saying that Holloway, Ilya is
Ilya.
gonna headline the Utah one. So we'll see.
Oh, that's yeah. But I when that came out, I remember just some of the pages I follow on social media saying like that was the target date. I'm like, McGregor in Salt Lake City, Utah. Like I thought it was a joke at first, but people were kind of running. They're like, per initial reports, that's the card. And I'm like, dude, what? There is literally a 0% chance of that. I agree. And New York already seems to be lining up to be a Jones fight. Obviously, they wouldn't put Jones and McGregor on the same card. That would never happen. There was a time where people saying maybe they'd both be on UFC 300, and we see how that turned out. But yeah, I think it would be in Vegas, but there's no way it would be in Salt Lake City. So yeah, I'm about 50-50 on this, whether Conor actually fights again, but I'm a little less than that on whether he'll fight Chandler. So hopefully we see it. I don't think we'll see it anytime soon, but we shall see.